Law enforcement's crackdown on recent protests across Los Angeles has cost the city more than $17 million, with the price tag likely to keep ballooning. The Los Angeles Police Department has played a critical role in violently shutting down anti-ICE protests across the city, since the Department of Homeland Security began executing immigration raids at local workplaces on June 6th. LAPD officers have arrested 575 people and fired hundreds of crowd control munitions at demonstrators. As of Monday, June 16th, the city had spent more than $17.2 million on the LAPD's response to protests, according to LA City Controller Kenneth Mejia. That is roughly 4 times the amount of funding allotted to the city's Emergency Management Department for the entire fiscal year. Those costs include the massive response to June 14th's No Kings protests, when every one of the LAPD's nearly 9,000 officers were mobilized and approved for overtime pay. The total does not include the cost of potential lawsuits against the LAPD, however, which may significantly drive up the final price tag. Police action during LA protests in 2020 have cost nearly $12 million and counting in settlements and jury awards. Similar lawsuits in response to LAPD action at anti-ICE protests are already being pursued. Earlier this week, the LA Press Club filed suit against the police department and city over violence toward journalists covering the protests, according to its attorney, Carol Sobel, who successfully sued the LAPD in 2020.
The whole world can see what's going on. There probably weren't enough bullets to shoot all of the press and prevent coverage, but that would have been their goal had they been able to do it, I'm sure.
She said the LAPD has repeatedly ignored laws implemented after the 2020 George Floyd protests by continuing to attack the press and indiscriminately deploying crowd control weapons among protesters, which has resulted in significant injuries and may result in more litigation. The LAPD declined Capital and Main's request for comment.
There will be a lot of lawsuits for being struck with less lethals. Some of the injuries are quite serious and people have had to go to the hospital.
Sobel predicts those lawsuits will be successful, which would leave the LAPD, and by extension, taxpayers, on the hook for many millions of dollars in damages. Those increased costs would put significant pressure on the city's already strained budget, which was signed earlier this month and cut more than 1,700 positions across city departments. Despite the cuts, that budget increased the LAPD's funding by nearly $90 million.